Bonjour. Oh, it's a good one. Oh, one more.
Hi again. So now we have South Africa head coach Shaq Ninaber and captain Siya Kolisi. First question, please. Oui, devant juste ici. Merci.
Jacques, I'll make this an easy one. Jan de Koning. Talk to us about Andre Pollock's performance and your thoughts around him.
Yeah, I think Andre, the important part is that he had 30 minutes at Premiership Cup level, which is a little bit below international. And tonight he got 50 minutes against a proper Tonga side that got better as the tournament went on. And I think they're a team that will just improve the more they play Tier 1 nations. We said in the beginning that they've got some players that have played for New Zealand, Australia. Some of them are playing for Crusaders, for Toulouse, so they know what rugby is about. So he got a proper test match against them, and he got through 50 minutes.
How do you feel about his performance? I mean, obviously, goal kicking is the one issue, and Mane also had some, but Andre, general play?
No, I think exactly what we said, the reality. I mean, I think he will just get better, and I think he was solid. If you think about, I can go into technical details if you want me. So I think if you go and look at his ball carries, I thought that was decisive and good. If you look at his defence, I thought the level changed well, and he put some proper shoulder hits in. I thought his off-the-ball work was good. I thought his kicking game in general, not kicking for poles, were good. So I think the fundamentals that we wanted him to tick the boxes, I think he ticked tonight, yeah.
Hi, Jacques, Liam, welcome. How difficult was it to strike that balance between chasing a decent score? Obviously, the points difference comes into it, but then also the game becoming a bit helter-skelter. How difficult was it to strike that balance in the second half?
I think the players will probably be more, they will be better saying how it felt on the field. But I thought the key thing for us was to get a win first, and then to get a bonus point. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think we got that in the second half, early on in the second half. And then obviously chasing netto points as much as we could to put ourselves in a position to get out of our pool. And I think where the reality is where we are currently, I think between ourselves, Ireland and Scotland, everybody can still miss out on the quarterfinal, every single team, all three of those teams, but all three can also still make it. So the pool will only be decided on Saturday.
Juste ici en jaune, sur le côté. Merci.
Jacques, how's Makazole doing?
He unfortunately have a blowout fracture of his cheekbone. So probably go for specialist scans and stuff tomorrow morning to determine the severity of it. But yeah, he sustained a blowout fracture.
And how impressed were you with Dion for his performance this evening?
No, I thought he was brilliant. Did exactly what we wanted him to do. Okay, and his basics was good. I thought the scrums and lineouts, I don't think we lost the lineout. So between him and Marco, they operated within the structures that we wanted them to operate in within our set piece. And then obviously, like you saw with Dion, especially in the back end of the game, where he got a couple of turnovers at the breakdown. I think, we always say that there's probably going to be, let's say, 16 scrums in the game, maybe 8 or 9 lineouts on attack, and maybe in your exit zone. But there's going to be 200 breakdowns where you can apply yourself, and he did tonight.
See, it's Kanye Soya from News 24 Sport. Just talk us through how your 50th Test as captain was, despite the physicality that we all saw from this game today.
The only thing I think about is the physicality. They were tough. They were tough. We prepared. The coach prepared us well for that, and they don't stop. You know, think at a certain minute they're going to stop, but the next guys that come on, it's the same kind of physicality. But I applaud our boys for sticking to the job, sticking to the plan. We wanted to keep it tight amongst the forwards, and I think we did that well. But yeah, the best thing about the thing, we got the bonus point, and we accumulated as much points as we could today, and I think that's what made it special.
And Jacques, how disappointed are you with how the team's defensive standards slightly slipped today after that impressive 5-minute period where Tonga camped in the team's 22 and still didn't come out with a try?
Yeah, I thought the first 20 minutes, I think the first 20 minutes, Tonga had 44 carries, and I think discipline got them, or our lack of discipline gave them 22-meter entries. So the first bit was exceptional. And then the one try that they scored with a chip over the top, I thought that was, we had enough numbers around the ball, I think, and that's rugby for you. Sometimes the ball just bounces right and things just work out for you. But in essence, I think from a defensive viewpoint, very proud. I don't see it as a negative. We don't count tries conceded. I mean, obviously, you measure defense in terms of how many tries you concede and points you concede. But I think if you look at the attitude of the defense against, like I mentioned, the Tonga side that were getting better and better as the tournament progressed, I thought the attitude was there, and the guys really put in a big shift in terms from a physicality point of view in defense.
Good evening, Jack. If you go to quarterfinal, your players won't play during 2 weeks, maybe 3 for some of them, and you play against a team who won't play during 1 week. Do you think it's an advantage? Do you think it's a disadvantage?
I think it's similar to what we faced in the positive of that is right. The positive is that it's pretty much similar to what we experienced in 2019. We also finished our pool quite early in 2019, and I think we had a 12 or 13 day preparation break before we went into the quarterfinal against Japan. So it is something that we have done before as a group and as a team, and it worked out well for us back then. So our players now we'll give them off now for 2 to 3 days, and then we'll start preparing. And until we know what the outcome is of the pool and who we'll face, I think the other pool, the France-New Zealand pool, will only be determined on Friday night. So then we'll actually know, depending on where we finish in the next day, on the Saturday, we'll have a good idea of who will play. But I think in the first week now, give the guys some time off to get away from the game, get a little bit of a mental break, and then start focusing on things that we can do better. So internally focusing on us, on things that we must improve if we want to stay in this competition to the end. And then once we have clarity who will play, then we'll start focusing on the opposition.
Non, le monsieur au fond là-bas, casquette, lunettes. Merci.
Jacques, you mentioned how Tonga don't play a lot of games, and that's sort of been a narrative in this World Cup, the difference in the Tier 1 and the Tier 2 nations. As the head coach of a Tier 1 nation, what changes would you like to see? I mean, is that something that you think about, the obligation that the top teams have to the developing teams?
No, not, it's a little bit, I probably would say it's if I give a comment on that, it will be pure speculation, because I don't understand the schedules and how things work. So it's a lot more complex, and there's definitely somebody in World Rugby that runs that portfolio, and the comments I'll make will be just my opinion, and it won't be the truth. So he'll know the truth, or whoever's in charge of that. But I think World Rugby has done a lot for Tier 2 nations. I mean, if you just look at Uruguay's performance against France the other night, if you look at Fiji's performance, I think there's a lot of effort that World Rugby are putting into Tier 2 nations, which is a good thing. And yeah, I think from my side, we try and give as much as we can. If there's the opportunity to play against Tier 2 nations, it's always great. Unfortunately, we would have had, I think we would have had Georgia in 2020, but COVID took that away from us. So yeah, it's always a good thing if we can play against Tier 2 nations. But again, I think World Rugby is doing a great job in terms of that, and only they will know the answer to that question. I'll speculate.
An easier one now. Can you sum up the team's performances in the group stage as a whole? Things you were happy with over the pool, things that you...
Ours?
Yes, yeah, yours, yeah.
Yeah, I probably won't go into detail there because, I mean, that will be technically, we'll probably tell the opposition where we think we're weak and where we think we're strong. But I think there's certain things that we did pretty well, and there's certain things we wanted to rectify tonight. Some of them we got better at. Yeah, but some of them we still need to work on. Yeah, like I say, it would be mad for me to say, okay, listen, I think we are poor at goal kicking because tonight we weren't. But I mean, so some days we are, and that would give opposition an inside lane.
Two last questions, please. First one here and second one here.
Congratulations, coach and captain. Coach, how concerned are you about the 3 tries conceded this evening? Coming into the game, you guys had only conceded 3 tries in 9 Rugby World Cup matches.
Yeah, look, that's probably Tonga. If they ask me, yeah, Tonga is a team with the brilliance that they have, that they can create something out of nothing. And I thought, and that's the beauty of them, you know. So because they have quality players, like I said, a lot of them have played and represented New Zealand before, and have represented Australia before, so they understand what top international rugby is all about. And like tonight, I mean, you might not give them a sniff, and then somebody just does something magical, you know. And sometimes when you concede tries, you don't necessarily have done anything wrong. They just did something incredibly brilliant. And sometimes you must just sit back and applaud it, because sometimes it's just good attack. You can't cover everything on a rugby field. I think if there was a try conceded because a lack of attitude or a lack of work rate or a system error, yes, that's something we can improve on. But sometimes you just score tries and it's just a brilliant try. You just sit back and applaud it. And I think tonight Tonga has that ability to create something out of nothing.
And last question, please.
Jacques en français. Comme vous l'avez dit, il n'y a rien de fait dans cette poule. Le match Irlande-Écosse sera décisif. Un scénario improbable fait que l'Écosse et l'Irlande peuvent s'arranger pour sortir de la poule. Est-ce que vous pouvez y croire à ça?
If I understand you correct, so you say they can maybe chat between each other and decide that, but
Le micro, s'il te plaît, comme ça la traduction sera faite, merci.
Je ne dis pas ça, je dis est-ce que vous pouvez croire à ce scénario improbable?
Could I believe in a scenario that they will decide, okay, we want to get this amount of points and then get South Africa out of the way? That would probably be match fixing, I would say. I hope not. Rugby is clean. We wear those T-shirts, so hopefully not. Because that would be extremely disappointed, don't you think?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I could have stayed in the chamber room. I could have stayed in the chamber.